So welcome back. We're still calling this off the record, even though the format's changed a little bit. I am Andy Singleton. Tahal Barak is with me, and now we've wrestled and brought in Mr. Lifshitz, Ralph. Gentlemen, what's going on this week? How are you both?
Andy, how's it going, man?
It's well, sir. It's well. Listen, before you guys start talking, let me just announce real quick. I forgot to mention.
Well, or it's going well. I don't get it.
I forgot to mention our friends and sponsors of this show last week. Official Fantasy Rings, Revel Labels, Dynasty Football Factory. What else? Fantasy Assembly, Friends with Fantasy Benefits, our friend Justin Mason. And I hope you guys will help to promote this. We are doing the Nickel Press TV TurkeyShoot. We got one contest going on FanDuel, one contest going on DraftKings. They're both $5 to get in. Top three places win prizes. There's some Black Friday money to line your pockets if you can claim the top DFS prize. There are two links that have been created for your convenience for the Nickel Press TV Turkey Shoot. bit.ly, bit.ly/FanDuel Turkey or DraftKings Turkey. That will take you right to both contests. Those links will be in the description. You can find them on our Twitter bios as well. And there you go. So make sure you enter.
So he's going to make a lineup for me. No, money is not an obstacle. Whatever the price is, I'm taking on all comers. Put it on me on the Turkey Shoot. Thursday is going to be a feast.
I will tell you who I think you should contact to do this for you. You were bragging about your Fantasy Pros finishes 2 of the last 3 weeks. So I decided to go check out the rankings, as I know a good, maybe 90% of the rankers on there personally. And I was flabbergasted and humored to find that the guy that sits one rank ahead of you
I saw that.
is one Douglas Moore. I'm going to edit all that out, but I will send you a copy of this and you can do what you want with it. So maybe you should reach out to Douglas Moore about your DFS lineups for the Turkey Shoot.
Oof.
No comments?
My only comment would be for everybody to look for the unedited video I will be posting about what Andy just cut out about me saying about the Turkey Shoot with Doug Moore. That'll be coming.
Apparently, I got to hear the background on this one. Damn, coming out spitting fire. You're like the mad rapper. So angry that he's one spot ahead of you. I assume it's because he's a Patriots fan, but
no,
neither here nor there.
It actually has zero to do with anything.
Zero.
Damn it! I want you to take the bait on that one.
Zero. Yeah, there's a big backstory.
And there's a lot of lame ass Patriot fans out there. Let's not get it twisted. They do have probably the lamest fans on the planet. We don't want to get that confused. They barely traveled out for the Super Bowl against Seattle. Their fans in front of me were so soft. They were scared to look at me after the game. After they won, he was like embarrassed that they won because they knew they didn't deserve it. They wanted to get out of there. They didn't want to look me in the eye because they knew I was about to spit in his face. Slap him, God knows what.
I'm gonna send you a picture of what my house looked like at that Super Bowl. There was like 7 feet of snow at the end of my driveway and nobody could leave. You got lucky. All the Sullys from Boston stayed home. Those are the guys that will look you in the eye, take you on anytime. They'll break bottles over your head.
It was just all the cream puff Boston College educated weenies with money from Boston. None of the Southie guys. I was trying to meet some of those guys like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon or whatever, the Town, Jeremy Renner in that movie. I was hoping to see somebody that kind of reminded me of that guy.
Slane, you want to meet Slane?
Yes, that dude that you claim is a rapper, but he's an actor.
He is, man. He's a rapper.
Wait,
put out new music.
Was that the guy that was in also in Gone Baby Gone?
Yeah, Slane. He's like a Boston Irish rapper. He was in a rap group with called the Coca Nostra with Ill Bill from Nonfiction, dude Everlast from House of Pain, a couple other people. Sick Jack, and I think somebody else like that.
Well, let me allow me to bring everybody back to topic and share with them what we will be attempting to discuss this week. That is the Bengals injuries, Thomas Rawls, a preview of the Thanksgiving Day games, and then we're going to try to give you one guy that is 30% or less owned right now that we think you might want to add since most trade deadlines are over. But you might want to add as a keeper if you're in a keeper league for next year. All right, so my duty, since I have two guys that like to talk a lot, me and myself included, that makes three. I'm going to do my best to edit this down to a reasonable length for you to consume and digest. Thomas Rawls, how excited are you? Did that soften the blow of Precise being lost now?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it real with you. I was at this game last week. It was the only game of the season I've been to for whatever reason. It's been a weird year for me. I'll be back in the playoffs, though. You can guarantee me that. We got the seats. We got 8 seats there. Don't worry about that. I'll be there. Competition for somebody to come with me will be starting soon. But on top of that, I was actually beyond furious every time Rawls was getting a carry because Precise was my obsession. I had been starting him in fantasy since the last 2 weeks. He's been great. He had the 75-yard TD run or whatever. And then all of a sudden, Rawls back in there. I'm like, where is Precise? Where is Precise? And then he got hurt, and it obviously ruined the entire game for me when I found out he wasn't coming for the second half. I couldn't even enjoy myself in the victory. But anyway, Rawls looked pretty good. He was hammering people out there, trucking people, laying wood on guys. He looks like he's fully back. He looks much different than he looked at the beginning of this season. He's obviously the number one dude. Nobody's left. Hope even sprained his ankle. You got to feel bad for him. He was going to get a chance to actually contribute. We loved him. Now it's back to Andy's boys, scrub of the decade, scrub of the century. Alex Collins, 5th-round pick, Arkansas, pure trash. He probably went through the field. They'll probably sign some old man, some bum off the street who will back up Rawls. But in the meantime, Rawls is probably an RB1 right now, man. He's got no competition. He looks fierce. Starts with Tampa Bay, soft defense. He's high up my rankings this week.
What's your take with Rawls as an outside observer, not somebody with Seahawk ties yourself personally? You don't have the 8 seats. You're not going to the playoffs. You tell me. What do you think?
Well, we're going to the playoffs, and we're gonna win the ship. But that's a totally different story. I don't have the 12th man jersey. I don't have the stadium design to keep noise in so we can feel good about our records because we got nothing else going for us except for Rain and Fish and Pearl Jam and bands in the early 90s. But as for Thomas Rawls, it's funny because last week my man T-Hole here cursed CJ Precise. He said when they cut Christine Michael that what happens if Precise goes down or Rawls goes down and all of a sudden they don't have a backup. So I want to say that this is T-Hole's fault. At this point, Rawls is a must start this week. I think he's a top 3, top 4 running back. You got to love the Tampa Bay matchup. He's going to just keep eating all game long. And I think people forget before the ankle injury last year, this guy averaged 5.6 yards per carry. He was one of the better running backs in football. His matchups going forward aren't great. Plays Carolina, which isn't a great matchup. At Green Bay, which is, I think, the numbers don't say it's a great matchup, but it's going to be a better matchup. That defense looks awful. But then he's got some tough matchups. L.A. and then Arizona in Week 16. I think Rawls is all systems go. I wouldn't want to get rid of him. He's one of the top 3-4 backs I want to own right now, just based on usage. And usage is obviously the most important thing in fantasy football.
Side note, if any of you are wondering what the Beddick Manor looks like, just so you know, as a frame of reference, the guest house was the house they used in the movie Fear with Mark Wahlberg and Reese Witherspoon way back when, that luxurious palace. That was the guest house. So if ever you're in the Seattle region, maybe for the playoffs, you want to bring 6 of your buddies and tag along with the Lord for a playoff game, you can stay in the Fear house.
Don't show up and go, let me in the fucking house. No, don't do that.
So let me in the fucking house.
No? Can I take you on a roller coaster, just me and you?
Yes. Yes. Good butt banging on the Ferris wheel is just what I need.
Just so you guys know, since I started the timer, we're already at 14 minutes and 30 seconds.
Well, 40, at least 10 minutes of that is T-Hole ranting about Doug Moore.
Let's go to the Bengals injuries. We got the doctor back with us, the fantasy doctor, Selene Parkekh. We are asking you specifically about A.J. Green because this injury happened, surprised and shocked everybody, threatens to ruin people's fantasy seasons.
This is a pretty significant hamstring injury. Your hamstrings control the back of your leg, really help to kick the pelvis or kick the hip backwards, bend your knees. And we know those hamstring injuries kind of nag for a while. And so it sounds like he's got a grade 2 or 3. That puts him at a 4 to 6 week timeline to be able to get back to playing. And I think when you get him back, you're going to take it slow with him. This is not something where it's like a fracture or a sprain and you just kind of go when you get back. This takes time, and overexhaustion, exertion, dehydration, that all will potentially cause us to re-aggravate. So even if he is able to get back this season, and I'm saying even because I'm not even sure he will, I don't think he's a guy that you put active the first week back. If you look at the video footage, he didn't have it running down, for a long pass. This happened when he was getting tackled, and he basically twisted himself, and it just, what's happening is the hamstring muscle is trying to contract, and it's getting pulled at the same time. So that's what we call the eccentric motion, where your muscle is trying to contract, but it's getting lengthened and pulled at the same time, and it causes it to tear. And those are the ones that can be high-grade tears, and it sounds like that's what he has. And those are big injuries, especially in a player like a running back or a wide receiver or a tight end, where you're expecting them to run a lot. Okay,
so Marvin Lewis and his predictions aside, do you expect that we'll see A.J. Green again this season?
From the sounds of it, from the video, I don't think so.
So you think that's it? He's done?
I think he's done.
Okay, and let's not forget, this is the guy who told us all year, don't expect to see Jamal Charles. So when the doctor tells you, in his honest, estimated opinion, A.J. Green will not be back, I think it's worth perking your ears up to. Let's just say he does come back. Let's say they suit him up for week 13, week 14, it's the first week of your playoffs. You're in the first round. You're an A.J. Green owner. Week 14, he's back. Are you trusting it? Or is this the type of thing, it might look good on Thursday at practice or Friday at practice, he suits up and boom, second, third, fourth play of the game, it pulls up on him again, and that's it. Now you wasted a start.
Yeah, exactly. So you're exactly right. I mean, this is one of those scenarios with hamstrings that it may look great in practice and all the pseudo game time situations, but game time's game time. It's a different intensity, different dynamics, and these guys are giving 120%, 200%, and they're dehydrated, they're running around, they're sweating a lot, they're exhausting themselves, they don't want to come out of the game, and that is all a setup for a re-aggravation. This is a pretty severe injury, and not only that, but it's kind of at the upper end of the hamstring where it's close to the pelvis. Those just take longer. So even the location of where this occurs is a bigger deal. If it's kind of in the heart of the muscle, in the belly of the muscle, there's great blood flow there. There's a lot of muscle there. It tends to heal a little bit more reliably. When you start stretching out away from the heart of that muscle towards the tendons, it takes longer. And so for that reason, in my mind, he's done for the year.
Could you tell me if Sammy Watkins has any hope of playing this week? What's going on there? I'm so desperate. Please give me good news.
I'm not going to give you good news. In fact, I'm actually going to give you a lot of kind of nebulous news. My biggest concern about Sammy Watkins is that, he saw the guys down in Charlotte, one of the world's experts in foot and ankle problems. The reports from that exam was that the bone is healed. If the bone's healed, why are you keeping him out for another 4 to 6 weeks? And that only points to soft tissue issues. And the problem with soft tissue issues is there's no surgery for that. There's no guarantee how fast it heals. Those things can be chronic.
You got A.J. Green. You got Sammy Watkins. You need to get rid of one to clear room to add somebody like Tyler Boyd this week. Which of those two guys are you dropping between Watkins and Green?
A.J. Green.
Really?
I'm more hopeful on Watkins than I am with A.J. Green.
Wow, and there was no hesitation in that answer. Well, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
Have a good one.
All right, guys.
The other news of the week was Gio Bernard, towards the end of the game, was lost for the season as well. So Rex Burkhead is the popular ad, as is Tyler Boyd. I loved him coming out of college. Was higher on him than a lot of people. A lot of people thought he was a little overrated and his numbers were a little fabricated at Pitt.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would definitely add him certainly over Rex Bunkhead or Burkhead or whatever the hell his name is. He's a white running back. I mean, come on now. But yeah, I mean, he's gonna eat. He's gonna get the looks, and it's not gonna be Brandon LaFell. Brandon LaFell is garbage. So I would definitely put a claim in on Boyd. I think he's a smart play, maybe as a punt play. I don't know what his price is in DraftKings and FanDuel this week, whatever they call themselves now. But he's certainly somebody I would roll out there.
They still call themselves DraftKings and FanDuel.
I know.
They've merged. We're not really going to get into that, but since you mentioned it, we do have the TurkeyShoot going on both sites. Nickel Press TV TurkeyShoot. Don't be afraid to get in. 20 spots on FanDuel, 50 spots on DraftKings, $5 entry. That's it. You think you know football? You think you know DFS? Prove it against us. Tay Hall, Tyler Boyd.
Spots, that's a little ambitious, isn't it? We only have 15 viewers. But what I was going to say...
Five. Oh, 50 spots, yes. 50 spots.
Oh, yeah. 50 spots. Yes. Racist Ralph with the white running back crack. True Trump fashion. New England fashion, we're the only place where there's countless white rappers that all band together to form these Irish groups when they're really just a Klan rally or something is what it reminds me of. But anyway, about the Bengals, they set themselves up for this. I mean, they set themselves up for failure. They didn't want to pay Marvin Jones. They didn't want to keep Sanu. It's like, pay one of them. They have plenty of money. The owner, cheap-ass owner, doesn't want to pay a guy. So then what? Eifert's out for half the season. Everything goes down the drain. They have no other receivers. LaFell's trash, the rookie, and you're counting on a rookie really to step in for those guys. Those guys were vets and were great fits with the team. AJ Green, they might as well sit him the rest of the year. Why even try to have him come back? Just collect your top 5 draft pick and move on.
Let's talk Thanksgiving. Let's talk Turkey Day. Gobble, gobble.
Yeah, so we got 3 games, as usual. Dallas, 7-point favorite at home. Cousins, 5 of his 10 games this season, he's thrown for 300 or more yards and 296 in another one, so that's really 6 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
7 of his 10 games, he's had 2 or more touchdowns. Only 1 game where he didn't score at all this entire season. The Skins are 7-1 against the spread in their last 8. They played Dallas already once this year. They lost by 4. That was in Washington. Cowboys have covered 9 in a row against the spread.
I would totally pick Cowboys to win, and I think the Skins will cover. And I think the funny thing about this, like looking from a DFS standpoint, when I was putting together my Turkey Day lineups, whatever, I was choosing between the 2 QBs. I felt that, like, yeah, you could go with Roethlisberger. I'm sure everyone's probably going to put the money there. But I'm looking between Prescott and Cousins that I feel like with the Roethlisberger injury, they sort of have, like, I think they're probably the surest bets of the day.
Well, the other 2 games, as you mentioned, is Detroit at home against Minnesota. The Lions are a 2.5-point favorite. And then the last game of the night is the Colts hosting the Steelers. Steelers went from a 3-point road favorite to an 8.5-point road favorite, with the news that Luck has not cleared concussion protocol, and it will be Scott Tolzien.
Never disrespect Scott Tolzien ever again. He's going to come through. We've seen the Pittsburgh Steelers secondary is absolute trash. I bet Tolzien might go for 275, 300 on them, especially in garbage time. He might surprise some people out there. We see what he did in Green Bay. I don't respect Dallas's defense, but their ball control offense or whatever is somehow in their bend but don't break defense is managed to somehow they keep winning these games. The talent on their defense is gross. It's got to be in the bottom third of the league talent-wise. So it's amazing to me how they're doing this. And I'm thinking Washington's going to sneak out a dub this week.
Ooh.
How is their secondary? I mean, who's on this defense? Talent-wise, it might be the worst defense in the NFL. I'm not kidding.
But they're getting the job done.
They are.
Is there anything to say?
Yeah, the easiest schedule so far in the league. Their opponents have a 37% winning percentage.
Ooh.
There's a nice
in the NFL.
There's a nice number for you. Well, let me give you some other numbers on the other games. I mentioned Detroit, Minnesota. Vikings are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5, while the Lions are 5-1 against the spread in their last 5, or last 6 rather. Detroit's also won 3 straight Thanksgiving Day games.
Where's our friend Mahler stuffing his fat face with this Thanksgiving? God damn it. That guy's probably got 2 turduckens in the oven right now. That guy's probably deep frying turkey. He probably deep fries a turkey once a week anyway. This is no special holiday for Mahler. That dude is quite the character. He's eating gizzards probably right now, getting prepared. He's getting a little tuned. He's getting tuned up. He's paced himself to this point. He's eating a little more and a little more and a little more week by week by week, so we can get to this point where he can fully go balls deep on Thanksgiving and take it all in with as much gravy and stuffing galore, malt liquor. We know him very well. We know what he's doing on Thanksgiving. But anyway, why we're mentioning him, I don't know. I'm gonna go with man, that's a great another game. I don't know how Detroit has a winning record. They've been trailing in every game in the fourth quarter, other than probably this last game against Jacksonville. That's Jacksonville. I'm leaning Minnesota. They got the win last week. The offense is still kind of gross, but Detroit's offense is nothing fun to watch either. And I just like the talent level on Minnesota's defense a lot more. I think they're going to get it done.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Mahler because he's taking a stand and he's refusing to enter our Nickel Press TV TurkeyShoot. So if you play DFS, if you know the Motown Mahler, you can find him on Twitter at jbach14. Harass him, abuse him, tell him he should be absolutely putting his money where his mouth is and defending his claim to fame, his self-claim to fame in the Nickel Press TV shootout. What it is, right? Turkey shootout.
Yeah, turkey shootout.
All right. Well, there you go. Here's another plug for it. We got you on DraftKings. We got you on FanDuel. Jump in.
Without Luck in there, we got to watch Tolzien, who I just sucked off for 45 seconds. But still, it's Scott Tolzien. We want to see Luck Roethlisberger. We want to see that matchup, so that's a little disappointing.
Yeah, but let's get into this whole Tolzien thing for a minute because you mentioned a couple things about him, and how could you forget his Green Bay days? And a lot of people are curious now. What do I do with T.Y. Hilton? What do I do with Dante Moncrief? What do I do with Jack Doyle? I'm kind of 50-50. I think Tolzien is serviceable. I think he's capable. He's put up yards in his time under center. He just has not thrown any touchdowns, and he's thrown a hell of a lot of interceptions. So that's the one problem. But if you want completions and receptions and yardage, which will certainly get you some points in fantasy.
And the yardage was there. The completions were there. The TDs will come, will they not? What are they going to do, run Frank Gore 40 times? He's 57 years old, and he needs a walker to get in the stadium. Enough.
I think it's funny because you're sort of split there. Like, I'm interested. Personally, this week, I don't really want to roll out Hilton or Moncrief. My interest is to see who ends up getting the targets and what sort of routes they're running, what the route tree is with Tolzien. I assume that Gore is going to get a ton of work. I'm interested to see if, Tolzien is able to exploit those matchups downfield where Hilton obviously gets separation because he's so fast. I think if you have Hilton, in your year-long leagues, you got to roll him out there. He's one of your guys. I think I'll play him if I have him, but I'm playing him when I'm having, but my expectations are lower. I'm not going into that game expecting to see, a 15 to 20 point performance from Hilton against a bad Steelers secondary. Is there going to be value with Moncrief or the value going to be with Hilton? Like you said, I'm not sure I would necessarily sit Hilton in a year-long league. I wouldn't touch him in DFS this week, though. DFS-wise, one guy that stuck out to me is Rob Kelly. I don't know if you watched that dismantling last week. He put up 34 points in DraftKings. He's only costs $4,300 right now, and I don't care how good Dallas's defense is playing. The way he's run and the usage he's going to get, I would be willing to roll the dice at $4,300 as him as a flex play. I think that's a must-own player.
Let me make one bold prediction, if I may. Jerick McKinnon, it finally happens this week. 40-plus yard TD run. It happens this week on Thanksgiving Day. He's rested up from being horrible, and it's just I think it's more gonna have to do with luck than anything. It's just so due. It's so due. I can taste it. He can taste it. We're all sick of Matt Asiata. We're sick of it. We want to see McKinnon break the long one. I'm considering putting him in my season-long lineup with my playoffs on the line. Other than that, it's going to be I think a Jordan Reed's going to have a big day also, so maybe pay up for him.
Did Christopher Bean pay you to say this glowing stuff about Jerick McKinnon? He is a diehard Jerick McKinnon supporter.
Why?
My big take from the 3 games, I love the 2 that you guys both just said, but I would say I'll reiterate, don't go overboard thinking Tolzien is going to be a complete waste of space for the Colts. I think he will be serviceable in a 1-game role. So let's move on. I mentioned since most of the trade deadlines have passed for Dynasty League people, a lot of these guys are probably owned, maybe not. If you can find them, it's trying to research this. I set the bar at 30% owned or less, and there's really no rhyme or reason to this because if you go and look at the percentages at different sites, you'll see guys on there that if you check in any of the leagues I'm playing in, or I'm sure you guys are playing in, they're long gone. So I don't know what leagues these guys are available in. It makes no sense to me. Guys I'm talking about, like running backs, Kenneth Dixon, Paul Perkins, Wendell Smallwood, C.J. Anderson, receivers, Tyler Boyd, Ty Hill, Funchess, J.J. Nelson, Tajay Sharp. These guys are all listed as 30% or less owned right now, and I can't find them anywhere that I'm looking in any
They're
leagues.
available in my league.
Well, I would like to be in that league.
Would you?
I think I would. Unless this is a 4-team league where
it's a 10-team
Where he
league.
owns 3 of them.
you're playing against your mother and your cats.
I'm just like making masterful move after masterful move. I haven't messed up once in 3 weeks, all must-win games. And even though they haven't all been great performances, the guys I have plugged in have outscored the guys on my bench. I've made the right call every week. I need to do so again. I'm really nervous.
But that has nothing to do with the question I'm asking you. You have a guy that you would recommend people go out?
Oh, yeah, I got a real good one for you, especially because you said Dynasty. Cordero Patterson is owned in like less than 5% of leagues. He goes to another team where he's more of a focal point. There's some upside there. So for guys like you're talking about, that's a real deep sleeper, but he's as talented as probably anybody we talked to about today.
Yeah, but I think there's probably some fatigue with him and people just not wanting to trust that. And I'm not trying to dispute what you're saying. If you believe in Cordero, I believe in you believing in that based on what I've seen. I know some guy on Reddit said this Tahal guy never gets anything right. I personally disagree with that. But
you suck.
The whole thing with Cordero isn't that kind of dependent on him leaving Minnesota because he's still Diggs there.
Probably. He's a free agent. They got to let him go. I'm ready for him to go. They should have traded. I was hoping somebody would have traded for him the last few years. How about Buffalo? Buffalo should give up a first-round pick for this guy right now. I mean, they're so desperate for anything out there. I'm just saying, you just said everybody that was under 30% owned was owned, so I went a little bit deeper. But if that's not good enough for you,
no, that was great. That was great. And, when you say first round, I kind of, shudder to think, really, but they'd probably get more production out of that than what they gotten out of this year's first round pick. So why not?
Somebody that you mentioned, when you were sort of segueing in with Teo, Wendell Smallwood. He's got a great opportunity this week and going forward. I think he's got a perfect setup right now in Philadelphia with 2 guys that I don't think get out of the future. Darren Sproles isn't sticking around too long. Ryan Matthews, regardless of how many opportunities he's had, how many times that, he has these random games where he looks great, he never gets it done. He averaged, I think, 6.5 yards per carry his senior season. He has the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. I think there's an opportunity for you to pick him up right now, get production for him, sort of an audition toward the end of the season. And then next year, he could really factor into the backfield situation in Philadelphia. As the waiver period passes, I'm sure he's going to exceed 30%, but he's a guy that I would definitely use my waiver priority on right now. He's going to help you this year. He could help you long term as well.
Gillisley also. I like Gillisley. Kick up Gillisley. That guy should be starting running back in the NFL. He's better than some dudes in the NFL that are starting right now. Last time I seen Ralph at the urinal at the stadium, I asked him where his Smallwood jersey was, and he didn't have it. But hopefully he'll have it next time.
All right. Well, we talked a little bit about Boyd. I'm not going to go too much further into that. That will be my guy with Ralph taking Smallwood off the board. Taylor going with Gillisley. I like that. I don't know if I like the Patterson, but anyway, if you have anybody specifically you'd like to ask about, hit any of us up on Twitter. You got Lord Beddick. You got Ralph Lifshitz, BB, People's Pen. You could also leave the question in the comment, whether it's about a dynasty guy, a trade scenario, start sit advice, anything like that. Leave it in the comment section. We'll make sure to answer it. And other than that, I think we've probably talked as much as we should for 1 week. So hopefully you are enjoying this new format. Like I said, we're trying to be a little bit more laid back. And good luck. Enjoy the holiday. Eat a lot of turkey. Get at Mauler, Motown Mauler. Harass him. Join our Nickel Press TV TurkeyShoot, whether you're a FanDuel fan or a DraftKings king. I know that sounded really corny, but whatever. Jump in, $5, top 3 places. Pay out. Any of you guys have any Thanksgiving stories or wishes you'd like to share?
Thanksgiving back.
I got one thing I got to say. We got a Patriots-Jets matchup this week, Andy. So I think personally, we have to have some sort of a gentleman's bet going on here for next show. One person has to do something else if the other person's team wins. I don't know if you're willing to take a bet like that with the Jets at home against the Patriots, an awful Patriots defense that has not played well. They're totally susceptible to losing this week. I think it's a possibility. So what are you thinking, man? You want to do some sort of a bet? You got to come on, I don't know, wear like Tom Brady's face or something. I gotta wear Bart Scott's face or some washed up Jets has-been bum.
We can do whatever you want. We can lay out the wager. Despite how awful the Jets have been, I think they are in any game against the Patriots. No
Absolutely.
matter what the records say. So I don't think my chances are,
good.
Fringed upon in any way. So sure, that's what you want? You want me to come on in Tom Brady face?
Yeah, we got to do something like that. We got to figure it out. I'm not creative enough to come up with something really good off the top, and I'm sure you don't have a Patriots jersey. I don't have a Jets jersey, so we can't do that whole thing. I don't want to go out and spend money on it. An ugly gang green Jets jersey, but we'll figure something out.
We'll figure something out off air over the week. So by the time people watch next week's episode, you'll figure out what the bet was and who the winner was and who the loser was.
Perfect. We'll put it out on Twitter.
All right. Well, I guess that will wrap things up. Enjoy your holiday. Like I said, happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.